supportive chaplains for spouses and families. Thank you, and God bless you. I've got to tell you a little story of this man. I was in the hospital in '88, and I was given 2 years to live. This man wrote a letter to me, thanking me for what I had done. I couldn't believe it. But I told him I lived.
No, it wasn't returned. Somebody get a picture like this? Yeah.
Did you not get it?
Thanks. The wrong side of the aisle.
There you go. You said please.
Police Department, Joseph Samuels, Jr. Chief. I was one of those that helped with the start of the chaplaincy program there, and I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you. Now, I don't want to be insulting anyone. Is there another chief here? I don't think so. I walked all over. Okay, great. Thank you, Lord. Now, I have one more other introduction. I could not have done this without a staff, and part of them are gone because they're with your kids, but part of them are over here. All of you from San Jose PD who've helped, and everyone, just stand. Don't get a big head. It's been fun getting to know her. And Shirley, would you please come, and thank you for your work, and thank you for all you have done for me. While Shirley is coming, you just might want to turn your chairs around because we'll be focusing right here for the rest of the evening.
Mr. President, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed an honor to be asked to say a few words on behalf of the auxiliary. You have made us an entity by acknowledging us here for the first time tonight at the banquet. The auxiliary was formed in Mobile, Alabama in 1990. Last year, on the 5th anniversary in Birmingham, Alabama, there were 22 of the original 37 that were present at that time. Now, this is really something because it is an international organization And people come from far and near, many at great expense. The spouse's way is not always paid. Our purpose is to encourage one another to grow in faith and engage in this ministry through the actions supporting the ICPC. We pay no dues. The silent auction is our moneymaker. And it is also a fun thing for everyone. Would you believe at this silent auction we had here that we made nearly $1,200? Now that money will be used to help in many ways, especially the children and youth programs. For those of you out there that have no spouse, for those of you who have a spouse, I'm not talking about you Roman Catholics. You don't have a spouse. But for those of you out there who have a spouse but have never brought them, we would like to encourage you to bring them. After all, your spouse is the front line support. We need each other. We're family oriented, and there are many activities for children and youth. We have listened to comments that many of you have made about the cost for families, and we are happy to say that the auxiliary has taken action by donating, as I had just said, about the funds from the silent auction. On behalf of the auxiliary, a big thank you goes out to Betty Ruth and David Bridgen. All the people who put this ATS together. Last year, Betty Ruth listened and dialogued with the auxiliary, and we greatly appreciated that. So we were able to put into action many of the things that we talked about. Remember, it is the host people who have all the work to do. We come here and we just enjoy it. We appreciate your hard work. Now, as I close, I leave you with two thoughts. Number one, should the auxiliary be formally considered on the board of directors of the ICPC? And number two, should the auxiliary have representation on the 25-25 committee? Thank you all. And now I'll ask our president, Jack Poe, to come up and install our new executive, with the new executive members of the ICPC. So.
Would you please raise your right hand and say aye, speak your name and your office, and then repeat after me. Aye.
I, Lola Shaw, President. I, Ruth Nancy, Vice President. I, Cheryl Coker, Secretary Treasurer.
Before God and in the presence of my fellow members
Before God and in the presence of my fellow members
of the ICPC Auxiliary,
of the ICPC Auxiliary,
solemn promise that with God's help,
solemnly promise that with God's help,
I will fulfill the responsibilities
I will fulfill the responsibilities
of the office to which I have been elected.
of the office to which I have been elected.
I ask God to help and guide me,
I ask God to help and guide me
and as I serve Him,
as I serve Him.
and I promise that I will lift up and support
And I promise that I will lift up and support
the law enforcement chaplains and officers in prayer.
law enforcement chaplains and officers in prayer.
Thank you.
Straight and narrow path.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's for all.
What a work these ladies have done.
From the International Ballroom in downtown San Jose, California, the ICPC Auxiliary Choir. With Carol Chambers directing, Marion Watson at the piano, and all the many good voices of the ICPC choir. Thank you.
Let all the people praise Thee. Let all the people praise Thy name, O Lord, forevermore. Let all the nations bless Thee. Let all the nations bless Thee now, O God.
Chaplains. Okay.
You don't need it, Phil.
There's a number of things that are required to do this. First of all, you have to have at least 10 years as a police chaplain. Secondly, you have to have at least 250 contact hours of continuing education towards law enforcement chaplaincy, letters of recommendation from your police department and ecclesiastical authority, and then you have to write a master's type paper for this particular certification. So this evening we are going to present 7 master certificates, 7 people that have fulfilled these requirements. So I'd ask our President Jack Poe and the chaplains if they would come forward as I call their name. First chaplain to receive master certification is Chaplain David D. Rule. Dave was with the Salvation Army and started his chaplaincy career in Rockford, Illinois, and started 4 other chaplains programs as he's been transferred around our country. Second chaplain for master certification is Chaplain Jacques Robin.
Get up there. Go ahead, get up there.
He needs to have this.
Chaplain Joseph Prudhomme. Chaplain Bert McQueen. Chaplain Jonathan Kozik. Chaplain Ricky Hargrave.
Smile, you're on catty camera.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. Thank you.
Chaplain James Hall.
Oh, sure.
Chaplain Paul Northgust.
Chief was so impressive. You're going to represent us.
Chief.
We'll have to get one for Jack.
Chaplain. Chaplain Conan Carr.
Yay, Conan! Good job, Michael.
Tell us anything. Tell us anything.
Chaplain Lee Butcher. Chaplain William Bolby.
You can't get there from here. There's no room up front.
Chaplain William Bourne. Chaplain Stephen Abernathy. The three other chaplains not present this evening attaining certification as a senior is Chaplain Bud Royals, Chaplain Guy King, and Chaplain Curtis Feynman. Thank you very much.
Married to Norma from Jacksonville. They have 2 children, 4 grandchildren. Went to the University of Texas in Arlington, and we won't hold that against them. But Southwestern Baptist Seminary, presently serves as a full-time chaplain of the Arlington, Texas Police Department. Is one of only 75 full-time police chaplains in the United States and Canada. Has produced 2 films on suicide prevention. Has written 2 books, Ripples of Suicide and 7 Miles Out of Town and Completely Off the Mental Chart. Is a regular guest on the ACTS television network show Cope. And I could go on and on. If you'd like his home phone number, pager, and fax number, I have that. No. Will you please give me a great round? Give Norman.
I appreciate that. Oh, what a privilege to be asked for a second time to speak to this delightful group. How many of you were not present in Mobile, Alabama? Let me see your hand.
Oh.
Wonderful, wonderful. The other 10 of you can go. Much of the material may be the same. I just have to make an announcement about this program. So many of you have asked about the character that these whose hands went up know nothing about. Whose name is Levi Littleton. Levi Littleton and I parted company some time ago. We did. He got uglier by the day. incident. For those of you who do not know, Levi Littleton is an alter ego, and after you've done one thing for 30 long years, you just don't want to do it anymore. And that's one of those things that I did for that long, and I just got tired of it. And I retired Levi Littleton. So, don't hold that against me, because really you thought that he was funny. But it wasn't Levi at all. It was Pat Gross that you were laughing at. I just happened to be center stage and got credit for it. And I'm not so dumb at what I'll take that praise when it comes, but Pat couldn't be here tonight, and again, I am so sorry because I needed her on this auspicious occasion. But thank you for asking us to do this program tonight. Now, in the years as they've gone by, there's certain things that have sort of become standardized. And so many of you have come to me that were in Mobile, and I've been in your churches and across the country. And you've asked, would you do this, and would you do that, and would you do this, would you do that? And I'm kind of reminded of I stood before an audience in Arlington, Texas, audience of senior citizens, and I said to them, I spoke to this group 2 years ago. And my sincere apology, I really do not remember what I said. And so if I repeat something, please forgive me. And one little gray-haired lady, retired school teacher, stood up down near the front and said, don't overrate yourself, boy. What makes you think we'd remember what you said? So I'm just assuming that you wouldn't remember what I said, but the one thing that was asked for, I guess more than anything else, was that I bring Norma and that we do what we did when we were in Mobile. And we're going to do that. Norma, come up here and just stay with me while I tell the story. She'll be sitting here at the piano for a few moments before I get down to the point of her playing. I have to tell you, those of you who do not know, that Norma and I just celebrated our 43rd, was 43 or 4? 44. Well, I tell you what, I don't hardly use figures like that because I was speaking to this beloved Catholic group the other day, and I said, our children, we're always so pleased when our children finally say something intelligent. And our 43-year-old son made an intelligent statement, and in the next breath I said, Norman, I've been married 42 years. Chili's tugged on my coat. Said we've been married 44 years, and he's 43. I turned to the priest, I said, now I know why you guys don't marry. I put up with that nonsense. Even though it does confuse the auxiliary. But anyhow, Norma, I don't know how many of you know anything about East Texas, but I was raised in the Panhandle out near Amarillo. Norma was raised down in East Texas, down in Piney Woods. And I had moved down there, and we met. We were quite fond of each other just right off. And she gave me directions to her house. And so I followed them to the letter. And I went 7 miles down the state highway and then turned off on a farm-to-market road. Had to go 4 miles down that farm-to-market road. And then I turned off on an oil-top road. Another 2 miles down that thing, and it turned into a dirt road. I stayed on it for about 4 more miles, and it turned into a lane. I followed that thing till it dead ended at the creek. I saw our house. About 100 yards on the other side of that creek. Thought, how in the world am I going to get over there? Everything was up. I looked up in a tree, and there was a rope. On the third try, I made it. I got up to her house, and there, and this will take me back, there on the screen door was a bobby pin. Under that bobby pin, there was a note. It said, gone to the country for the weekend. But we fell in love. We got married on my 17th birthday. She was 16 3/4 that day, and she was. She's 3 months a day younger than I am. And we got married on my 17th birthday, and my first full-time pastorate was out in West Texas. Now, there's some things that you who are not Baptists do not understand, and that is that we don't use much judgment when we call him as a pastor, you know. For those of you that were down in Mobile, you remember what I said down there, that the Methodists do not recognize the Pope. The Jews do not recognize Jesus. And the Baptists don't recognize each other in liquor stores. If that hurt any Baptist feelings, I'm sorry. Fellow told me the other day he went to buy a car. He said the car dealer told him, this car dealer he told him all the things it had. Said, this thing's got a Baptist button on it. He said, what's a Baptist button? He opened up the glove compartment, showed him a little yellow button. Just push that thing. Back up to the liquor store, push that button, nobody ever But I was only... I was only 20 years old when we took our first full-time church, and it was a little place called Sam Norwood, and it's out between Luty and Longmount, and we got out there, and let me tell you something, folks. We didn't know this, but 2 weeks before we were to move on that field, the pianist moved away. Well, now, Baptists can't worship without a pianist. And so, there was not another one in the church, there was one in the community. They found out Norma could play. They asked her if she would. She said, sure. There's just one thing they were not aware of, and that is that Norma only knows one song. And that one song is the Old Gray Mare. Come Sunday morning, Norma was right up there at the piano, and she played, and it went like this. They asked me if I'd officiate. I told them I would. They asked me if she'd play for it. She said she would, she did, and it went like this. 12 signatures that year, and they wanted to have a prom. They wanted to have a dance, and they asked Norma if she'd play for it. She said she would, and she did, and it went like this. How much she pay you? Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Chairman of our deacons died. I had a reason to be happy. You didn't even know him. They asked me if I'd officiate, and I said yes. They asked her if she'd play. She said she would, and she did, and it went like this. We are beginning to reproportion ourselves. Look, beginning to look kind of like we're made out of spare parts, you know, nothing fits anymore where it's supposed to. And I told her, I said, you know, we need to do something about this. And she agreed, and I went out and I bought us an exercycle. Let me tell you, folks, if you don't have an exercycle in your bedroom, you ought to get one. Oh, those ladies will hold more clothes in your closet. They're fantastic objects. See, I've reached that age where when I get up in the morning, I take 2 painkillers just in case. You never know when you're going to start hurting. That's preventive maintenance. Or I ever walk out the door while I don't powder our grease just to get started. It takes it off. But it wasn't doing anything for the size, you know. And so we were out at Sears, and I looked around and I saw a treadmill. And I said to her, maybe that's what we need. She got on it, and I was punching the buttons there. I didn't know it was plugged in. That thing was selling about 80 miles an hour. And Norma and I were just standing there looking at each other eyeball to eyeball, and she was gone. I remember what the Bible said about the second coming in a moment. When I looked down, and there she was. her dresses were about 3 inches short for about a month, but she went back down to her normal size. And after she got all the sorted, she thought it was funny too, but it did take a while. But you know, it's interesting, really it is, as you grow older. You know, I like to watch men. You take men when they get up 45, 50, quit tying their shoes in the middle. Start tying on the inside, because they can't reach the middle. It's interesting just to watch them. We just talked about, I'll tell you a while ago, you know, you watch a man cross his leg, be 45 years old, he had to take his hand and lift up and off. Don't have energy enough to pick that thing up by itself. It's just the way of life. You just get used to it. Let's see who always. Ed, I could tell, and there are a lot of Eds here, so I'm going to tell which one it is. Tell me yesterday, I thought this was real neat, what you call a flea on the head of a bald-headed man. Homeless. But I'm going to tell you, folks, getting old don't have to be the end of it. My mother, after my dad passed away, my mother remarried at 78. She did. And she married a man the same age of her. And bless her heart, before she got married, she called me. She was nervous as a kitten. And she just said in a real abrupt term, I'm going to get married. What do you think about that? I said, Mother, I think that's all right. If you want to get married and you found somebody you love, I think you should. Am I invited to the wedding? She said, no, you didn't come first and you ain't coming to this one. She's very Methodist, Jim. I don't make you happy. But he don't talk. And I'll tell you what, he can. He just don't. I'll tell you more about that in a second. They were going to Big Bend National Park on their honeymoon. And they left Amarillo, headed for Big Bend National Park. They never could find it, so they turned around and came back. God only knows where they went. That's like missing the Grand Canyon when you go across Colorado. That's all I do. You can't prove it, didn't do it on purpose. But anyhow, they made it back, and they, Mother and Bill, they're a pair. Like I said, Bill don't talk. Bill loves jokes. And I tell him all the time, since he don't talk, I said, Bill, they ever start transplanting mouths that won't yours. Never been used for anything but eating. And he'll say, heard any jokes? He said it real slow. Heard any jokes? Yes, sir. Tell him. I tell him, and he goes. He don't even grin. I mean, can you imagine how lonely it'd be up here tonight if all of you were just sitting there? And he don't grin. But he's the worst driver in the world. And see, he and my mother live in one house, but they got his and hers. And they're 14 miles apart. But they stay together. Stay his on all week, hers on the weekend. Hers got a real steep driveway. And Bill is the worst driver in the world. He tried to park his little Ford Ranger pickup in my brother-in-law's shop. My brother-in-law manufactures heavy equipment. And the opening is 40 feet wide, and Bill hit the corner. But he somehow got in Mother's garage and got it parked, but he forgot to put it in gear. He's standing out in the yard talking to my brother-in-law when that pickup takes leave of the premises. Comes down his driveway, whoop, down that driveway. My brother-in-law said he watched it go by, and Bill said, wonder where Mom was going in such a hurry. Went across the street and ran into Pud Bain's car. Pud Bain's the same age as them, so he just collected his insurance and turned the car around. where I was raised, we didn't have much water. In fact, I don't know whether y'all are aware of it, down in Texas, we're in a drought right now. Norm and I have a place down in East Texas, 150 miles from where we live, and we have a pond on it. And the water is so low that our fish have kickers on them. I like you all. You know what? I think we'll make without Pat Gross. Just now, you know, I've already told you about the magazine. Did I tell you about the Catholic priest who was sitting on an airplane reading a magazine? I did. I'm gonna tell it again. Well, I will tell you something. You ever notice that in church, the minister of music gets up and uses a song nobody ever heard, and they all sings them songs nobody ever heard. Preacher gets up and preaches, and they say, I already heard that. Every time. I never understand that. Somebody starts telling a joke, and they say, he didn't get it right either. But I will tell you this, this Catholic priest sat on an airplane, fellow beside him reading a magazine. I was reading a magazine, turns to the priest. He said, Father, can you tell me what causes arthritis? Well, he said, sure can. He saw that as an opportunity for evangelism. He said, too much wine, women, and song. Why? Do you have it? And he said, no, but I was just reading here in this magazine where the Pope's got it in both knees. She didn't know about this. She inadvertently went to the wrong hotel. She needed a room real bad. And she went to the wrong one, and she signed the card, and when the clerk saw her name, Goldstein, he said, Miss Goldstein, I'm very sorry, but we have no available rooms. Well, she said, I don't understand that. You got a sign out front that says vacancy. He said, well, I know, but Miss Goldstein, just to tell you the honest truth, we just don't rent rooms to Jews. She needed that room so bad. She said, I converted. When did you do that? He said, she said about a year ago. He said, let me ask you something. Who is Jesus Christ? Well, she said, he's the Son of God. Well, that's right. And where was he born? She said, he's born in a stable because some jerk Gentile like you wouldn't rent a room to him. But you know, for a country boy, when the sun starts sinking down in the west, he goes home. You got chores to do. And so the sun started down, and they started moving back up toward where the clothes were. And the first one got up there and to where his pants were on the shore. And there was a little girl that was sitting there by his breeches. And he said, you'll have to go now because I got to get out. And she just grinned. He said, look, you're going to have to go, but I got to get out. And she just grinned. He said, now listen, you get. Now, I got to go home now, get. She just grinned. He said, Papa's going to be mad, now you go. And she just grinned, and he thought, what am I going to do? And he walked around in that water, and he stubbed his toe. And he reached down, it was a tub, a wash tub. And he picked that thing up and put it in front of him, and strutted up at the little girl. And he said, with great disgust, you know what I think? She said, yeah. You think there's a bottom in that tub. My daddy said my mother in town told him to get her a 3/4 inch pipe plug. And she went to town like a dutiful wife would and went in the hardware store and told me she wanted a 3/4 inch pipe plug. Word said male, female, or both. Mother said, I ain't planning on raising a family. I'm just going to stop one. I could not let the evening go by without answering this request. I guess I've had more than any other, and it is, and you are from Arkansas, nothing personal intended, the way I heard it. And if I'd heard it in Texas, I wouldn't tell you. But these two old boys from Arkansas got their drought news. Went down to Little Rock for their physical examinations. And they had on bibbed overalls and brogan shoes, those gray socks with red toes. You know, they were farm boys. They called the first one in, and they said, take off your breeches. And he did. And they examined him. He was wearing a truss. He had a hernia. And they examined, he did in fact have a hernia. And they took his card and they wrote an ME. And they said, you put your clothes back on now. And he said, what does that mean? Oh, that means you're medically exempt. Now put your clothes back on. He said, but what does that mean? They said, it means you are medically exempt. You have a hernia. It means you are not fit for the Army. We do not want you. We're done, finished, through. Put your clothes on and go home. Suited him. He didn't want to go to the Army anyway. So he puts his clothes on. He goes out and tells his buddy. His buddy said, I don't want to go neither. Let me have that button. They go in a restroom. He takes it off. His buddy puts it on. He goes in, same process. Take off your breeches. They examine him. They write on his card, ME. He grinned from ear to ear. He said, does that mean I don't got to go to Army? They said, no. That means Middle East. They said, anybody can wear a truss upside down can ride a camel. Two fellows who had speech impediments and worked at the pantyhose factory. Those of you who were there with me just enjoyed with me again. They had not seen one another for a long time. They met downtown one day, and one asked the other what he'd been doing. He said he wasn't doing anything. He'd just go down to the unemployment office once a week, signs his name, gets $50 for it. The other said, man, he wanted some of that. So he went down. They said, what did you do at the pantyhose factory? He said, I was a diesel fitter. They said, you were a what? He said, I was a diesel fitter. They said, are you saying that you were a diesel fitter? He said, that's right, I was a diesel fitter. They looked him up in the book. They said, well, you get $75 a week for that. Thrilled him to death. He goes back and tells his buddy. Now his buddy's upset because he gets more than him. He goes down to complain. They said the reason he gets more than you is because his job is so much more technical than yours. He was a diesel fitter. He Y'all mean nothing. Nothing at all. We sat right there side by side, I throw the crock in the panhole. I get the heat. He fall on his head and say, this will fit her, this will fit her. Specified amount of time, he gave it to me. I asked him for a specified place on the program, he gave it to me. I asked him for material, he didn't give me anything. And I'm certainly going to be honoring his timing. I think I would be remiss if I did not say some of the following. That is that, I've done a considerable amount of study. I'm certainly no expert in it, but I've done a considerable amount of study about laughter. And one of the things that I learned is that this is God's gift to man. We're the only one of his creation that has that ability, the ability to laugh. And do you know that people who do not laugh have to learn to be miserable? God didn't make you that way. You had to practice it and get that way. And people who don't laugh have to learn not to laugh. It is such